Alright folks, still day 24, and it is now raining. There you go, so I'm going to try through this shit. And much like we did a couple of days ago when I told you my thoughts on every single team in Major League Baseball, I thought, well, you already know my thoughts on every single team in football if you are a regular listener to the podcast. So let's do another sport. Let's do hockey today, NHL specifically. 32 teams, but I'm going to throw in 4 that no longer exist for whatever reason, because I like the logos so much. And we will start with Canada, and I'll go alphabetical by state. So let's start with Canada first. We start with, let's go west to east, and we start with Vancouver, the Canucks. So I will admit I was not a Canucks fan when I first got into Canada because I'm not a Pavel Bure fan. All right, not particularly cared for that guy. So, but of course, in recent years, my edge has changed on the Canucks. I like the whale logo that they had. Love bull losers, I'm going to call them, because they've gotten to the cup final but haven't quite won it ever. So that's Vancouver. Then we go next door to Alberta. And there are 2 teams we got mentioned here. The first is the Edmonton Oilers, and I've long said that I follow a team that Gretzky played for. Well, Edmonton was actually the team he played for when they got absorbed into the NHL, and they won a bunch of Stanley Cups there. So Oilers, and last couple of years they've gotten to the Stanley Cup final, only to lose to Florida. But much love and respect for the Oilers. The Calgary Flames, I actually own a Calgary Flame uni from the Theo Fleury era, and yeah, I will admit to be a Flames fan from time to time. I am not too crazy about Fleury's politics. I'm not too crazy about Fleury's politics, but he was a pretty awesome player. So that's Calgary. Then we go to Winnipeg would be next. So the Jets. No strong opinions about the Jets. Either form of the Jets, either the one that left for Phoenix or the one that came in from Atlanta. Actually, also one of the Flames also relocated to Canada from Atlanta. So, while I'm on this tangent, NHL, can we please stop trying to make hockey happen in Atlanta? It ain't gonna happen. Alright? Alright. So that's then we go to Ontario. So we're talking Maple Leafs. One of the original 6, the Toronto Maple Leafs. Longest Stanley Cup drought, the longest active Stanley Cup drought, and I think even longer than what the Rangers have put up with. So who knows what happens there. Ottawa, the Senators, they're no strong opinions, although they're kind of like the Clippers, the NHL, but the Clippers never been to finals. These guys at least have. No strong feelings. And no strong feelings on the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs. And no strong feelings there, although it would be nice to see someone catch up there. 24 Stanley Cups. 24. And then here's the first the ghost teams that I'd like to see back. The Quebec Nordiques. Cool name, first of all, Nordique. Nordiquus. And cool logo too, with the igloo shaped N and the hockey stick. Yeah, that's cool. I'd love to see that back. Unfortunately, they became the hockey cronkies, so we'll talk about in just a little bit. Now we go to the States: Alabama, Alaska, Arizona. Okay, yeah, I know people want I know some people want the Coyotes back. Selfishly, I'd like to see the Coyotes back. Realistically, I don't think it's going to happen. I do own a Coyotes on the Chiquina jerseys from when they first moved to Phoenix from Winnipeg, and they just could not make it happen in Phoenix. So if they come back, great. If not, I'm not going to lose sleep over it. And they're kind of Gretzky team too, because Gretzky did at one point own a piece of the Coyotes and was actually their coach for a while. And that adage that great players do not make great coaches. Well, there you go. Unfortunately, that's your proof right there, is Wayne Gretzky. So, California. This gets me to the team that I started my hockey fandom with, and that's the LA Kings. Again, Gretzky. They got to their first Stanley Cup final with Gretzky on the team. Didn't win it, but they got there, and they have since won 2 Stanley Cups. So, that's awesome. And even in the LA area, they have the Ducks. Yeah, you guys named after the Mighty Ducks, the movies from Disney. But they dropped the Mighty part. They dropped the Mighty part, and they win Stanley Cup. Right? That's funny to me. But not much love for the Ducks. Right. And then San Jose Sharks, also in California. No strong feelings about the Sharks, but in California. Colorado, that's the Avalanche, that's the hockey cronkies. Once again, fuck Stan Kroenke, and fuck anything he touches, with the sole exception of Arsenal Football Club, because they have to go through what we went through. Connecticut's honorable mention, Hartford Whalers. Cool logo and cool name, and referenced in Kevin Smith movies. Mallrats, they went to Vancouver once, twice in a lifetime. Chasing Amy, they're a bunch of fucking who cares if I called her or if I called the Whalers a bunch of, in the privacy of my own office, and I'm self-censoring here. So, but yeah, immortalized in movies. Unfortunately, they too have also left, and I would like to see them back. In their case, they went to Raleigh, North Carolina. So we'll love to see that level back. So they get DC, the Capitals, Washington Capitals. Shout out to Ovechkin. He broke one of Gretzky's records. I think it was the goals record last year, and still playing. All credit to him. They've had a couple of logo changes over the years. My favorite, though, was the Swooping Eagle. So, I like that a lot. But I also like that their colors are red, white, blue. USA colors, which is appropriate for a team in DC. Are you listening, Commanders? defending champion Panthers. Good job. Good job. And then, no strong feelings there. I am fully aware of the whole throwing rats on the ice tradition, which is pretty cool. And they're plastic rats. But the story was Scott Mellenby killed a rat in the locker room before game once, and then scored 2 goals in that game. And they called it a rat trick as opposed to a hat trick, which for those of you who are not hockey fans, that's simply 3 goals in a game. In fact, they use that term in soccer too. So 3 goals in a game is a hat trick. And there's that goddamn squeak again. So again, good thing I'm taking this in tomorrow. Just take a look at that shit. And then Tampa Bay Lightning, 3 Stanley Cups. They won the last Stanley Cup before the one season got completely locked out, and then they won the 2 COVID seasons too. So, but still, lots of respect to the Lightning. That's Florida, Georgia, Illinois, Blackhawks. You know how I feel about Chicago teams, and that's a team. You can keep the Blackhawks name, just have a black hawk as your logo, and just have a black hawk as your logo, and lose the Indian chief head. Yeah, there you can keep. This is one you can keep the name, but you got to change the logo. Seriously. Yeah, not really fair Chicago teams. That's just so Bruins. No strong opinions about the Bruins. So, but yeah, one of the original 6, as are the Blackhawks, but no strong feelings about the Bruins. Next team, though, I do have strong opinions on. That'd be the Detroit Red Wings, and they can fuck off. All right. So yeah, Colorado, Detroit, fuck off. Minnesota Wild, no strong feelings. No strong feelings for the Wild. Missouri, okay, Louis Blues. That's one of my teams. That's a Bear Gretzky team. He played like less than a season for the Blues, but it's still seen around St. Louis from time to time. And this is another. I'll stop and shout out to the former KC Scouts. I wish they had a better logo. It's just the Scout statue at Penn Valley Park is their logo. They could keep that stylized KC. That was part of the logo, and bring it back that way. Yeah, they listed all 2 seasons before I was even born, and are currently the New Jersey Devils. So yeah, the Scouts I would love to see back, but don't use the statue. And once again, Native American imagery. Just use that stylized KC logo. Nevada, okay, Nevada, Vegas Golden Knights, first year of existence, Stanley Cup Finals. Pretty cool. And then just a couple seasons ago, they won the Stanley Cup. That's pretty cool too. Not bad for a team that did not exist before this century. So there you go. Good job for the Golden Knights. Jersey, and I mentioned the Devils. They've both the Stanley Cups. Great players. Martin Bergeur immediately comes to mind. For them, he did finish as a Blue Rebel. Some characters on that team, and like I said, they were originally the KC Scouts, and they were the Colorado Rockies for a while, and all they still like. Let's go then. New York, 3 teams in New York. So we got the Rangers, the last of the original 6. The last team Gretzky played for. They won the Stanley Cup in the 90s to break their curse, and with Messier and on their roster, and they haven't won one since. So well, not nearly as bad as their previous streak, and certainly not as bad as Toronto. Islanders, gotta give them respect for winning 4 straights in the early part of the 80s. They are showing their for themselves now. And Buffalo, the Sabres, not a fan of that ownership group, because they also own the Bills and bought Stan's lies. So not necessarily a fan of the Sabres. That's New York, North Carolina. Where? This would be your Carolina Hurricanes, the former Whalers. They did win Stanley Cup after we went to Raleigh. I think they were the first Stanley Cup after that year that got wiped out with the strike. So no real strong feelings, but no very strong feelings about them. I like that nickname, Whaler Canes, with them. So, Ohio, that's Columbus Blue Jackets. No strong feelings there. Pennsylvania, so we got the Flyers. First time I really heard about the Flyers was Simpsons, Treehouse of Horror, the Forbidden Donuts, and the storyline of the 76 Flyers were part of Satan's jury when Homer tried to win Silverback, and then wound up having a donut for his head. Oh, but that's a sweet tasty. Interesting history with the Flyers to the Broadsheet Bully and all that. So, the Penguins, once again, Dad's from Pittsburgh, and have a fetish, if you will, with Pittsburgh teams. So they've won their fair share of Stanley Cups. Reminding of you, Jaromir Jagr, who's still playing, by the way, just not the NHL, but still playing. Jaromir Jagr, Sidney Crosby, Malkin. So they've had their fair share of good players. Recently, fairly recently, like the last couple of years, bought up by the Fenway Group. So they share ownership with the Red Sox and Liverpool. Pretty cool. Pretty cool there. Of course, they stick with Pittsburgh, black and gold, of course. Tennessee, the Nashville Predators. No real strong feelings there. Although you can't find this on YouTube, they did do an ad with the future Mrs. Kelsey. Well, I was there at the game. She's based in Nashville, Music City. Texas Dallas Stars. I don't have any strong feelings about the Stars. least one Stanley Cup. Something's probably should have won another. And not necessarily feelings about them being originally in Minnesota before moving to Dallas. Well, I guess if you're going to be a hockey team and you're going to move to any one Texas city, you might as well be Dallas, the first north of the bunch. So, Utah, the Mammoth, Jets / Coyotes / one more cheers at Utah Hockey Club. Get that weak shit out of here. What's over that bullshit FC stuff in hockey? And now that the Mammoth, really no feelings. They're still classified as a club. So that was kind of a Cleveland Browns situation. In two cases, because they looked at Chet's name in Winnipeg, and now they're the Coyote name in Phoenix, possible revival. Started brand new. So interesting to see what happens. Washington, okay. The actual newest team, the Seattle Kraken. No strong feelings. And I've seen the memes and people think their logo resembles Trogdor. No, that'd be the XFL team, the Sea Dragons, resemble Trogdor. Burninating the countryside, burninating the peasants, burninating all the peoples. I think that's all of them. Thoughts on current and past hockey teams? Hockey teams I would love to see return. I don't know if we will, but would love to see it in heck of a drive so far. Might to come more when I get home today.